welcome to A Guide to Every Deck in Pioneer. Today we're looking at Boros Pia. Boros Pia is a red and white aggro deck built around Impulse Draw cards and various creature synergies with them. What is Impulse Draw, you may ask? Impulse Draw is a card advantage effect usually found on red spells that gives you access to new cards but only temporarily. In this case, these are cards like Reckless Impulse and Ren's Resolve, 2 mana sorceries that exile the top 2 cards and let you play them until the end of your next turn, and Showdown of the Scalds, which does the same for 4 cards on its first chapter. Prowess creatures like Monastery Swiftspear and Soulscar Mage of course synergize with casting these spells, but the most important card in the deck, and the one for which it gets its name, is Pia Nalar, Consul of Revival, a 2 mana red and white 2/3 which creates a 1/1 flying Thopter whenever you play a land or cast a spell from exile, and gives Thopters haste. With Pia on board, you'll generate 2 Thopters for every Reckless Impulse and Ren's Resolve, and up to 4 with Showdown. Note that Pia also works with anything else you play from exile, such as Bonecrusher Giant. Other synergies to note are the abilities of Kamano Faces Kakazan and Showdown of the Scalds to add +1 counters to your creatures, which pair extremely well with Runaway Steamkin. There are times when you can storm off, quote-unquote, with Steamkin given the appropriate +1 counter effects and enough spells. For removal, the deck sports a set of Chain to the Rocks and Play with Fire. One of the most powerful things about this deck is how, unlike other aggro decks, it actually gets better as the game progresses since you have more mana to play all the spells you're impulse drawing, and one impulse draw spell will often chain into another. And while the deck is of course still susceptible to the usual things that work against aggro decks such as sweepers, it's better able to recover between all the impulse draw and Pia generating Thopters. Importantly, unlike a lot of other brain-dead aggro decks that are nothing more than turn creatures sideways, there's a lot of planning and decision making between which spells to cast and in what sequence, putting +1 counters on things with Kamano and Showdown, generating mana with Steamkin, and using impulse drawn cards before they expire. I hope you've enjoyed this look at Boros Pia. Thank you to my supporters, and if you enjoy these videos, consider subscribing and supporting the channel. And take care.